Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's J Dub, and I'm doing another video. It's been a minute since I blessed y'all with a video, but this is a ceremonious event coming up tomorrow with the NBA draft. So, of course, I have to do a little draft preview, like a little mini one, because I'm not gonna go too in depth with it like I did with NFL. But for this one, I'm gonna gloss over it a little bit, and obviously I'm gonna go over the number one pick in depth. So very excited for that, and as you can see, I am wearing a ceremonious jersey. My white Tim Duncan. I don't wear this jersey very often, if at all, but this is a special occasion, so yes, I had to bring it out for these next couple of days. So, very excited for the NBA draft, and I'm looking forward to San Antonio Spurs selecting Victor Wembanyama with the first pick, and it's a big deal, man. It's we've been needing a generational talent. We're overdue for one ever since Tim Duncan retired and Kawhi left to do his own thing, which I had no problems with. Just for the record, I know a lot of people are wondering how I feel about that, as far as just the fact that he left my team, but I'm still kind of a fan of his. And I really, in the end of the day, I kind of understood that the move, just for the record, that I thought just the system was he passed the system by. I noticed that just in his the season before he went down. I kind of see that he was his skill set was kind of the system's kind of holding his skill set back a little bit. So I seen it coming, and I kind of felt like kind of the pop's way of coaching and making it a team, making it more team oriented. It did. I mean, it fit Kawhi. Kawhi could play that way, but I thought at some point he was gonna want to get away from it, and he found an excuse to do so when he got hurt. So he kind of basically used his injury as a way to get out of San Antonio and to go to a different team. And I seen it coming, so I wasn't really tripping on it like everybody else was, and everybody holding a grudge about it. Still, I don't hold no grudge. I hope he does well, and I hope he does his thing. I hope he wins more championships. Like I said, I was rooting for him in Toronto, because that's my other team in the East. So I mean, he went to the team I wanted him to go to, and then he won him a championship. So it worked out for me as a basketball fan. But I know the other people, they was pissed off about it. But either way, it is what it is. He's doing his thing. He's in L.A. where they ain't doing too much, But they're making a big splash as well, and I'm gonna talk about that after I get done with the draft. Anyway, let's get back to the draft. So, like I said, the number one pick is gonna be Victor Wembanyama, barring any insane trades or any like loss of sanity by Greg Popovich and San Antonio Spurs. So I fully expect him to pick Victor Wembanyama, and basically we're looking at a 7'4" phenom that's coming into the NBA from France. He's a French player, and he is probably one of the highly prospected players to come out of the come into the NBA since LeBron. That's what everybody's saying. But and I watched extensive film of him, because I had a funny feeling that we was gonna pick him up. It was gonna go our way to get him. So I've been watching him all season, watching him play for Metropolitan '92 in France, and yeah, he has all the goods. He's a 7'4". He's kind of like a 7'4". Got KD skill set. He can bring the ball up court. He can face you up. He can shoot. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the mid range. He got a little bit of a post game. So he can make plays out of the post. These are all things that he's good at. That you see the potential in his game. He can do that in this league, but it's going to take some fine tuning, take some work. And to get it to kind of translate to the NBA level, because you want your game to look like you have to take, it takes a couple years to get your game to translate to the NBA level naturally. So it's going to take him a little bit of time. Everybody's expecting him. Think he's going to come in and start averaging 30. I don't think so. I think he's going to come in averaging 17, 18 points a night. Maybe 20. What I'm saying, if he's on a fast track. But yeah, I see him doing his thing, man. I see this as being a big pick. There's a lot of upside to it. Like I said, he has all the length and the wingspan. On the defensive end as well. to block shots and to pretty much in play drop coverage on the in the zone or in the pick and roll. So he can play drop coverage pretty well in that. The only thing I'm concerned about is his size, is his frame. He can be with a big man that can actually with a back to that can back you down. He'll struggle with that, and he can get pushed into the back of the underneath the hoop where his height becomes a non-factor, and then you can just score buckets on that. But the thing about that is there's not a lot of people in NBA that really have a post game. Everybody has a face up game. They got handles, and nobody really wants to post up. So the only people he's really going to have trouble with, he ain't going to see him too much. He's going to be probably be the Jokic's, the Embiid's, not even Giannis. Giannis really don't have a back to the basket game like that. You know what I'm saying? He's been working on it. So he might incorporate it in his game, but he really didn't have a back-to-back game. So there's not really too many people in the league that are going to be able to exploit that weakness of Victor Wembanyama early on. And then hopefully by the time more people think they can exploit that weakness, it'll be figured out. And he has the perfect. He's going to the perfect situation in San Antonio where he has a perfect mentor in Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's gonna probably take the mantle as being his mentor and showing him pretty much all the tricks of the trade, all the post moves, all the fundamental things that he needs to know as far as just being a big in the NBA. And hopefully that does also include bulking up a little bit. I don't think his frame is going to allow him to bulk up too much, but just enough to where his strength comes up, and then he can be able to handle some of those back downs when that he's going to ultimately experience at some point in his career, and turn that into a strength. And then hopefully he expands on all of his other strengths as far as just the shooting, the face up game, the mid range, just the sheer height. Of him, because you can't teach height, so you can shoot over anybody. He's always going to have a good look at the basket. So, he's just a generational talent, in my opinion, as long as he stays healthy, and also that's another thing is, being that tall, is kind of could take a toll on your health, and I don't think he's going to have that big of a problem as long as he doesn't put on too much weight. Because I think that's what the issue was with Yao Ming. It was he was that tall, but he was also big as well. He also had a bigger frame, and that took a toll on his his lower extremities. So I think that's what shortened his career. And I think if Victor kind of doesn't necessarily bulk up too much, he's kind of just does it. He just kind of just strengthens himself up enough, and just kind of builds a little bit more muscle, not too much. Just enough to where he can handle punishment in the paint. Then I think he'll be fine. So I'm looking forward to this. He's definitely the number one pick, and the Spurs are definitely going to pick him up unless hell freezes over. So I'm very, very excited about this draft in this pick. Now I'm not going to go too in depth with the draft. I will go into the next few picks, and I'm pretty sure that the number 2 pick, I think the Charlotte Hornets has a number 2 pick. And they're probably going to most likely, well, at least what would make sense to me. I mean, I don't know for sure after number 1, because I know number 1 is a no-brainer. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama. It's a no-brainer. There's no reason why he shouldn't go to the Spurs. Tony Parker was owns the team that he played for, so no-brainer. Anyway, but the Charlotte Hornets, the pick that makes sense for them would be to pick Brandon Miller from Alabama, because he's a big wing, and they need a big wing. That's pretty much where the biggest hole is at. They don't need any more guard. I think they got plenty of guards on their team, but they need a versatile wing. And Brandon Miller fits that bill. 6'9" wing. He can score. Got a good feel for the game. He can shoot the ball. So he's just a perfect fit for what they're doing. He has. And he was talking about it. He was talking about earlier that he looks up to Paul George and thinks he's like his GOAT, and I can understand why. He's not it could be his GOAT, but he's not the GOAT. But I can see why, because they're both 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", can shoot the ball, can handle. So I think that's what he models his game after, and it makes sense that he's been watching him. He watches him very closely, because that's the guy that his game models after. And it's gonna, if he goes on that trajectory, I think he's gonna be a solid player for the Charlotte Hornets to go along next to LaMelo Ball and and all the other young guys that Charlotte has. You know, because they've been missing that third piece, that three guard, that three four guy since Miles Bridges got in that situation with you know with his with the little DV that he got a while back, you know, and that kind of set him back a little bit, left a big hole in the wings position. Now Brandon Miller's going to fill that spot. I think he's a no-brainer. You know, I don't think there's too many no-brainer. There's only going to be 5 guys that I think they're going to be surefire players in this draft. Everybody else is more like a wait and see. We'll see if they go to the right team, they could blow up. But if they go in the wrong situation, they're going to be sitting on the bench. You know, I see a whole bunch of that in this draft, but I think the 5 guys, there's 5 guys in this draft that are gonna make some noise, and it's gonna be my top 5 picks. So moving on to number 3, it could be traded. You know, the Blazers could trade this pick. I don't think the first 2 picks are gonna be traded, but I think the third pick is up for trade. You know, based on need, because the third best player in the draft is Scoot Henderson. You could say he's the second best player in the draft, but the Hornets don't need him, because they already got a point guard in LaMelo Ball, and that's just gonna, I think, adding him to that situation is gonna stunt his growth a little bit, as well as Scoot's growth. But I think Scoot's is top 3 pick in the draft, and he could go to the Blazers, but I think the Blazers are gonna trade this pick. They're gonna do something magical on the draft day. They're either gonna trade this pick to somebody, or they're gonna or Dame's gonna want to move. If they do take this pick, Dame's going to want to ask for a trade. So either way, there's going to be some type of splash situation that goes into this pick. But Scoot Henderson is definitely the third guy off the board for sure. No matter how you slice it, you know, whether he gets traded or not, you know, he's athletic. He got a good point guard feel for the game. You know, he can. He makes plays. He like when they played that game against Victor Wembanyama earlier last year, or this year, I think it was earlier this year, sometime late last year. He was out there getting it. He was out there with he had that dog mentality. He was out there going to work and hitting threes. He worked on his 3-point shot, because that was one of his weaknesses was his 3-point shot, and he looked good. He was knocking down threes. He could get into the cup. He was dunking out. He was doing everything, you know. And he was being a point guard, making good plays, he attacked the hoop and making the right passes. So he's going to be a beast in the pick and roll. He can draw defenders. He's shifty. He's the real deal. He's the best point guard in the draft for sure. You know, you can make a case for the Twins, but as far as PGs, you know, because they're the next thing as well. But he's the real deal. Scoot's gonna be somebody's franchise point guard, I think. You know, so don't sleep on him. You know, I don't know if he's gonna go to the Blazers or the Pelicans gonna try to snatch him up, or another point guard needy team. But try to move up the board and try to snatch him up. But I mean, whoever gets him is going to have their point guard for the near future for sure. You know, so I think Scoot's going to do his thing, and he's going to be a problem for the league. So Scoot Henderson, man, he's about to do his thing. You know, all he has to do is just keep doing what he's doing. You know, and just be great. So the next pick, I'm only going through 5. I'm only going through the top 5 guys here, because I got some other stuff to talk about. The next guy is going to be. I think the next 2 picks are going to be one of the Twins. Both of the Twins are going to go in the top 5, in my opinion. But you know, I could be wrong, depending on the craziness that goes on in the draft. And I think that the better of the 2 Twins, I think the better one of the 2 Twins, in my opinion. I know some people might disagree and think that Amin is the better twin, but I think Thompson is the better twin, because he's more of the 2 guard of the 2 of them. They both got the same measurements. They're both 6'6", and got a 7 foot wingspan, so they both can D up. Obviously, at 6'6" and with a 7-inch wingspan, that means you got D. I think that Alsar is a better defender. He's more athletic. He's a better shooter out of the two of them, so he fits more the two guard role. And depending on need in that position, that's going to be depending on Houston on what they need. Do they need a two guard or do they need a point guard? Basically, so it's going to come down. It's going to boil down to who needs the two guard more. Or point if they want a point guard or a two guard. Because I think because Amin is more of the point guard of the two of them. So he's going to be he's a better ball handler. He's a better he's better playmaker, slightly better. I think Azar can make plays as well. He's a good playmaker. I think his defense and his ability to play the point guard, two guard, play the three. That bodes well. And I think that's what separates the two is just his versatility on putting them in different positions. You can put him at the 1, the 2, the 3. Preferably the 2 and the 3 because he probably handled the ball less than the two of them. Probably growing up, he was probably more the two guard of them. So that's probably why he's the better shooter out of them. But they both got the same type of athletic ability. Or you can say that Amin's a little bit more athletic at the point guard position as well. So so either way, you're not missing nothing with either of these guys, but both of them can definitely work on their shot. I think Azar is like I said, he's kind of I think the one that's going to come off the board first, but Amin can easily come off the board first because he's been put up there with some of the best players, because he's not as good as a shooter. I think that's just a shooting league. And I think that's why, and that's another thing that's gonna put his brother over him. But he's a better point guard. He can ball. He can handle the rock. He can make. He's the same athlete, maybe a little bit better. He can pass. He's just more of a better point guard than his brother is. So the team needs a point guard. He's that guy. He's gonna be he's just basketball IQ is up there. You can probably put him at the 2, but he's not really he's not really as good as a shooter as his brother. And I think both of them can work on their 3-point shots. So I think the 1 is a natural position for him. So I would definitely like him at the 1, starting out until he works on his jumper, and then maybe you can move him to the 2, a la he'd be more like a Drew Holiday. Type of guy, what I'm saying, with Ja Morant athleticism, so he's a fool, and he can D up. So yeah, I mean, both of these two are no brainers. Wherever they both either go, they're gonna do their thing. So I like both of them. They're gonna be good. I mean, shooting is something you can easily work on. I think that's both of their weakness somewhat. So they're both gonna improve on that. But once they get that taken care of, then they're off to the races, man. I think these two are going to do their thing at whatever team they go to, and I'm happy to see them get up there. I'm happy to see some of the G League elite teams guys up at the top of the draft. They're going to be between him and between the Twins and Scoot. They're at the top of the draft, and that's a beautiful thing. To see them up there and seeing that is another outlet to find your way into the league. I think overall this is going to be a kind of a top-heavy draft, and I think that after these 5 guys, like I said, it's going to come down to fit on the team. As far as like the team's picking, like if there's a good fit, if they pick a guy and it's a good fit for them, and they have the opportunity to pretty much showcase their talents on the team and make mistakes and learn through their rookie year. If they go to a team like that, and then I think there's a lot of players that can make some noise in this draft as far as their rookie season. But then also, the team, if a guy goes to there's a lot of guys, if they go to the wrong spot, then we ain't gonna hear from them or see them until they either get to the right spot or they get bounced out of the league in a few years, So it's gonna be one of those drafts. I think this draft is gonna be a B minus draft overall. It's just like I said, it's gonna be so top heavy. The top 5 picks are gonna be where it's at. The top 8 picks because you don't know where because anybody can because the Twins can go are going to go within the top 8, and then teams might pick who they think is a better fit or with their team, so anything can happen. So I'd say like after the top 8 picks, this draft isn't going to be that interesting. Maybe some trades are going to happen. That should be exciting. And we're going to talk about a couple of trades that recently happened. We're going to get into the first trade that happened with the Bradley Beal coming from Washington, going to the Phoenix Suns. And that trade happened earlier this week, and that caused a lot of a few shock waves, because I mean, it turns to it essentially gives the Suns a big three, and that's pretty cool. The Suns get a big three out of the deal, but that still doesn't solve their depth problem. But nice having big three, and that's what KD is always in the business for a big three. That's what he wants. KD apparently he wants a championship level team. He wants a championship talent. He wants championship talent on there along with Booker, and I think that this deal is a wait and see. Because like I said, they don't. It didn't really address their depth. I think their depth was more important of a fix than adding a third star. I think if they had addressed their depth, then I would be more excited about this season than adding Bradley Beal with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. People were saying that they don't, and then they also don't have a traditional point guard to get to set the table for these three guys. I think that's what's missing as well, and because they traded their table setter in Chris Paul to the Washington Wizards to pretty much to make the money, make it work, for them from a money standpoint. I just don't see Devin Booker being a full-time point guard, because everybody's like, well, he was doing it in the playoffs, and he was handling the ball, and he was averaging like 8 assists. I don't think he wants to do that for a whole season. I don't think he wants to be the point guard for the whole season, and I think teams are going to be able to game plan against that real quick, and as far as trapping him, because that's how it's pretty much what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to trap him and get the ball out of his hands quick, and then take advantage of that. I don't think they want to roll out a lineup, put Booker at point guard, Bill at the 2, KD at the 3 or the 4. Got 8. They're going to have Ayton. They're probably going to have what's his name? I forget that point guard's name on their team, but the Cameron Payne. They're going to have Cameron Payne still on the team, so he's probably going to be their point guard. He had 30 in the game they got eliminated. So, I mean, he might be just a solid pick. They might just need just a placeholder at point guard just to bring the ball up the court and do some things at point guard. So they're probably going to leave Cam Payne there at the point guard position. I think they believe in him at that position, because besides him, they're only going to be able to get minimum contracts because all the money that they're absorbing with Bill and along with his deal. They're not really going to have a whole lot of money to make any additional moves, big moves, or get any big vet free agents, because all the vets are really trying to make some money and go to a team where they can actually eat, and they're not really trying to settle with a minimum deal. So I think that this is going to be a wait and see how it fits, see what other moves that Phoenix can make, because I think the only other move they can possibly make to make this all work is to trade DeAndre Ayton for some pieces. If they can trade him to where he wanted to go originally, which was Indiana Pacers, and get Miles Turner out of it, and maybe a point guard, maybe not necessarily Buddy Hield, but maybe get a point guard out of the equation. Maybe that'll work. They can. They're just gonna. I think the only way they're gonna be able to build from here is a pretty much trade DeAndre Ayton. But then you hopefully you get a big back, hopefully you get a big and a point back. But we'll see how that goes. Now there was another deal that happened today that I saw, and it was a 3-team trade that's in the works right now, and it is between the Washington Wizards, the Boston Celtics, and the Los Angeles Clippers. And basically, the framework of that deal is that the Boston Celtics is going to get Kristaps Porzingis from the Washington Wizards. The Clippers are going to get Malcolm Brogdon from the Celtics, and the Washington Wizards are going to get Marcus Morris, a draft pick, and probably some other picks from the Celtics as well. There's gonna, I think somehow Celtics are gonna give them some picks as well. I don't know it's still kind of ongoing discussions, but there's strong indication that it's gonna happen. So we're just gonna wait and see what all the details are for it. The money, and also I think that Kristaps Porzingis needs to opt into his deal so he can be eligible for an extension, so Boston can take on his deal and then also give him an extension along with it. So yeah, it looks like a slam dunk deal, and from the looks of it, I think everybody wins that deal, because you got to look at it from the standpoint that Boston gets Porzingis. They get a big that can shoot and stretch the floor. Got a stretch 5. They got bigs on the team already. I think this deal kind of puts Al Horford on the outside looking in a little bit, because he kind of does all the things that Al Horford does as far as just the stretching the floor, and now he's a 7'3" shot blocker, so he brings a little bit of defensive presence, and he's very good at drop coverage. It's just that he also had the same problems as Victor Wembanyama. If he gets a guy big enough that can back him down, then he can push him all the way to the underneath the basket and then just lay the ball up. And because at that point his height really doesn't matter because he's underneath the basket. He can't use his height to his advantage at that point. But but like I said, there's not a lot of players in the league that's going to be able to exploit that weakness. So I think that's and that's that got out looking on the outside looking in. I think Robert Williams is still going to be a factor, because then you can put Porzingis at the 4 and then Williams at the 5, so he can still Robert Williams can take on the center, the bigger guy in the equation. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all fits. But I think it's a good fit overall for the Celtics. It gives them another scorer to go along with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They got their point guard. They got Derek White. He's probably going to be their starting point guard. So it's with Malcolm Brogdon leaving, and they already got Marcus Smart. They got Peyton Pritchard. So they're good at point guards. So they don't need no point guards. And I think it's just an upgrade for them overall. And I don't know if it's going to put them over the hump for a title. But I think it just gives them a little bit more firepower. Oh yeah, I think Gallinari goes to the Wizards too. But yeah, so I think it gives them more firepower. So that works out for Boston, and I think it really works out for the Clippers as well. They won the deal as well because now they get a point guard. They get a point guard, Malcolm Brogdon, that can shoot and defend, can handle the ball, can set the table. He doesn't need to do too much. He's not a ball dominant point guard either. He can play off the ball a little bit. So that's perfect for PG and Kawhi. To be able to play off of him. So they got 3 guys that can play off of each other, and then none of them are ball dominant. So I think this is a good situation for the Clippers overall. Just as long as they stay healthy next year. I think this puts them in title contention. But it's all about health with the Clippers. The Clippers just need to hopefully pray that Kawhi can stay healthy. Paul George can stay healthy for a season. I think if they can stay healthy for the season and play at least like 65 to 70 games, I think they have they can compete for a championship. But like I said, but just the past few years, we haven't been able to see that type of consistency between these two and this team in general. As far as just staying healthy and being staying cohesive within the season to where they can make a strong championship push. But I got a feeling that this could be it. This could be the year for them. I think this is a do or die season for just the two of them, if they manage to stay together, through this offseason, they know what is at stake. They know that they need to deliver a championship. But what better way to go come into the new stadium next year with a banner to put up? That'll be just a beautiful situation for the Clippers and the franchise. I think that would kind of wipe away a lot of the stigma from the franchise, and just the history of it, of being pretty much a predominantly losing team, and also being in the same pretty much same city as the Los Angeles Lakers, is one of the more historic franchises in our league here. So I think this only helps the Clippers, and then also on top of that, they got rid of Marcus Morris, who's just a negative for the team last year. What I'm saying, he's a good, good. He was a good player up until last year, and then he didn't play defense. The things that he did best, he didn't shoot the ball very well, and he also didn't play defense very well. He kind of dropped off a cliff on the two things that he was good at. He never was really a super high IQ guy, but he can shoot the ball. He can play D. But now I think that he hit the wall as far as his career, and they got to unload him, and they got rid of pretty much a low pick in the draft to make this move happen. I thought it was a good move, and then it also kind of puts them in a position where they don't need Chris Paul. I thought that would have been a step backwards if they had got Chris Paul. So because Chris Paul is not super healthy in the playoffs, and neither Malcolm Brogdon isn't the healthiest player either. But I think I would rather have him than Chris Paul at this point. And then and it just makes sense. I think it's just a great move for the Clippers to go into next season and give them another chance to kind of compete for a championship. Gives them somewhat of a big three, because I think Malcolm Brogdon starting gives them a good chance to make some noise and compete for a championship in the West. And also, in the Washington Wizards won the deal just by simply clearing all the cap space, and just starting from scratch. They've been trying to make a competitive team for so long, and when the writing was on the wall, like 2 years ago, for them to break this team up and break up and get send Bradley Beal somewhere else. They probably got more money, more assets if they had sent them to Miami, or did something, or sent them somewhere else sooner. But they waited until now, till they got a new GM who happened to come from the Clippers, which probably was what helped facilitate this deal to get the Clippers involved. But they finally got a GM and a new GM, and the GM looked at the team like, all right, we gotta have to tear this apart. I'm gonna just start this from the ground up, and he got rid of Bradley Beal, got a couple of second round picks, and got rid of Porzingis, sent him to Boston, got a first round pick, maybe two, depending on what Boston gives him. Gets Gallinari, over there. He gets Marcus Morris, who's probably going to get bought out, and they cleared up like $90 million in cap space. So, and now they're gonna have Chris Paul, who's probably gonna get released and sent to probably gonna go to LA. In my opinion, I think he's gonna go to the Lakers and be with LeBron and AD. And then so they can start fresh, start new, get a couple picks in the draft to build off of, and then just kind of go from there. Because you don't really want to be in the middle of anything in sports. You never want to be the middle team, like the middle of the pack team. You want to be either competing for a championship or competing in the lottery for the top pick. And the Spurs understood that. That's why they played. The past couple of years they were a non-factor, because they were playing low-level basketball. Because they didn't have too much top-level talent. And they understood that at the beginning of the year when they traded DeJounte to Atlanta to get more picks. Because they knew they're in rebuilding mode. So when you're in rebuilding, you don't ever want to fight rebuilding mode. Once you feel like your team has hit that wall and they're in rebuilding mode, don't keep any lingering assets or lingering big deals. You want to kind of cut those losses out, and then just kind of just bring in young guys so you can kind of develop them, get them acclimated, and get as much blue chip talent as you can, to where they can all grow together and play together and build themselves to a championship team, a la the 90 pretty much the 90 99 to 2014 San Antonio Spurs, and more recently the Golden State Warriors. You know, those teams, like those teams that built from the draft. You know, you want to build guys together from the draft. You know, you want to get as many top level talent in the draft as you can. You want them to play together for a couple of years till they become a championship team. And that's what the Washington Wizards realized, and that's what direction they're going. And I think that's a win for them for realizing that, you know, there's no point for them to be keeping all this money and keeping all these guys under, or these high contract guys under contract just to sell tickets. Man, the fans want you to tank the team. So, you know, why wait? Just get it done, and then get your young talent, save some money, a couple years. You know, hopefully they develop sooner than later, and then you're next thing you know, you're competing for the playoffs. You know, at with homegrown guys. You know, that's what you want ultimately. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let you guys go on draft talk. You know, I'm gonna leave it. I might do another video tomorrow on some music stuff. I got my project coming out, so I'm gonna do my music project video. I'm gonna do that in a separate video. I'm not gonna muddy up the waters with that. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Hope everything goes well in the draft. I mean, I know everything's going well for my Spurs, so I'm not worried about it. You know, I'm just whatever happens after that. You know, good luck to everybody, all the teams. Hope you guys make the right decisions with your picks, and good luck. You know, have a good day. Peace.